Hey everyone, again, here is the part two of the miracle marriage that God gifted me. We left off last time where I was in phone conversation with my spiritual teacher, and he had said he was going to arrange a marriage for my wife Sita and I. And she wasn't Sita at the time, no, she was Allie. And so we were nervous because yeah, for American uh, people, that's not the tradition. In India, the boy and the girl, they often the first time they meet is at marriage. But here in the West, there's a whole dating process, a whole engagement and rings and family permission and so many things. Um, so I didn't really know what to say or what to expect, but um, I'd gotten the sign earlier that morning. In the last video I mentioned in my meditation, I was getting lectured from these images of God I was staring at on an altar, and it was about getting married. And then that night I got a call. So I said, okay, I'm gonna call Allie and I'll see what she says. And so I called her, and somehow or other, she knew. We actually just got off the phone that earlier. We were talking. We would talk every night. I was in India, and it would be morning for her. And we just got off the phone, and then my guru calls me, and then has this conversation. So I was like, well, I got to call her back before I go to bed. And so I called her back, and somehow or other, she like knew this is what I was gonna say and ask her. She has a little bit of a like really intuitive. She's very intuitive. Like she like knows what's gonna happen before they happen sometimes. And it's not just with this instance. But anyway, um, so I called her and we were a little explained the situation to her, and we were nervous, and we didn't know how to feel about it. But really, how we felt about each other is that we were quote unquote in love, um, you know, by at least the societal standard of what in love means. The spiritual standard of what love means is a completely different thing. And, maybe we would both agree we haven't reached that platform of actually being able to really give love in its purest form. But definitely by society standards, we were in love. And so we decided, like, maybe this is God's sign that we should get married. So we knew we had to call our parents and let them know, and we had to tell them not to tell anyone because we still wanted to have an official American wedding, and we wanted to do it the right way with, well, some of our own traditions, with parents and the relatives and the whole fiesta that actually we did end up having earlier this year. And some of you might have even attended. Um, but so this was in January of 2020, before COVID, right when it was just started getting in the news, actually. And so what we did was we arranged this marriage at our Guru Maharaj's like new and upcoming temple. And this could almost be like the end of the story in one way or in the other, but actually the marriage itself was such a beautiful thing. We were able to secure traditional Indian dress, similar. If you came to our American wedding, we had similar things, except where we got all the ideas for how to throw a pretty cool American Vedic wedding. And so we had traditional Indian attire. Sita was dressed up quite really fancy, and had people doing her makeup. She would agree that she like I think they might have overdid it on the makeup though. She looked like a almost like a Barbie doll in like this Indian dress, but she was still stunning nonetheless. And then the the final surprise with the wedding, it was held in Madhya Pradesh, in a city called Khargone in India. Madhya Pradesh is like a province in the center of India. And we were actually on international news. And some of our friends who happen to be Indian, because really only Indian people would watch the Indian national news, but uh, they saw us on like the news getting married. And so we were like doing interviews. It was a whole big thing. The temple was promoted. We were not expecting, we just thought it would be like a little thing. But it was really quite an experience. We did a traditional Vedic fire yagya, or it's like a sacrifice. Everyone's around the fire and you chant prayers. And actually, thank God we didn't do the full expression of that in our American weddings. I just feel like Americans would not know what to do for like an hour plus of, chanting these mantras and watching us throw barley and grains and rice in the fire while a priest puts his own things in the fire and chants prayers. And so it was like a really sweet traditional thing. We had a bunch of villagers around us who spoke no English, but they were just so happy to see us getting married in this way. We had there's a nice tradition where the groom's wedding shoes get stolen. So my shoes got stolen, and I had to literally pay someone to get my shoes back, which is an Indian tradition, a Vedic tradition that somehow or other I got caught up in. And so it was a really sweet experience. It happened on March 8th of 2020. So it's interesting. That's actually like our it is in essence our anniversary, and we celebrate that we've been married since that time, because that's when we made the formal commitment to God that we would be husband and wife. Our parents, if you were wondering, weren't exactly thrilled. My parents were low-key thrilled, just because, like, they really liked Allie, and they were really worried that I would never find a proper relationship. So I think my mom at least was like low-key thrilled. But they were they trusted whatever we decided we would do, and they just made us promise that we'd have an American wedding as well, in which they could be a part of. And of course we agreed to that. And like I said, we had it. And actually the next video I post will be that American wedding. We have a really nice wedding video that our friend Steve prepared. And and it already has seen YouTube and actually got like 230,000 views already, which is like pretty incredible. But I'll share it again and we'll see if you guys like it. But yeah, and so then we got married and came back, and then COVID happened, and COVID was a whole big experience. And then our, marriage was put to the test and blossomed and tried this thing and that thing. And now we're up here in Syracuse after officially getting married with the parents and the relatives and the friends and the family. That is actually a very important part of the marriage tradition. And it feels like one, we got married before God, and then to really seal that marriage, we had to do it before all our close friends and family and relatives. It really felt like an official merging of families and an official merging of our relationship. So I almost feel like it was incomplete without that element. So, but yeah, this will be a much shorter video. Most of it, I was supposed to just finish it all in one video, but ultimately, yeah, the suspense had to be built because my wife had to fetch me for an important thing. But thank you guys for watching. And the lesson of this all is that, the Lord really provides. Like, if you want something, the Lord will bring it to you. But if you, in order to give it to you, you have to be ready, and he has to make sure it's not going to harm you and destroy you. So I had to learn so many lessons on how to actually be the person that I needed to be to actually handle a marriage, actually handle a serious relationship. And there was a lot of immaturities, and there was a lot of my own things that I had to really work out. And so the Lord, he gave it to me when it was the right time. And I know there's many people out there who are really looking for like a serious relationship and a marriage and all these things. And yeah, it's probably not what you think it is. You're probably creating all kinds of ideas in your head that this is what marriage is, and it's so much glamour and glitz, and it'll be amazing, and probably all your desires will be fulfilled as far as your lusts and this and that. But actually, it's a huge commitment. And really, if you can't both unify under a united cause, a higher cause, honestly, it probably won't make you very happy at all. But at the very least, the Lord will fulfill your desires. He fulfills everyone's desires eventually. But the ideal is that we be the right people to handle these desires, that these desires are wholesome and under the laws of God. And that's why in all spiritual traditions, God has codes of conduct for how to live nicely and properly. So I would recommend anyone try and follow and find that in their life, whatever that is for you. If you need a nice system, we got a wonderful system here at the Krishna Consciousness Bhakti Yoga system. I'd be happy to, share anything for anyone who'd reach out. But uh, that's really it for today. Thank you guys. This is a little bit of a spontaneous thing. But I really hope you are all blessed in your endeavors, and I hope you find what you're looking for out of life, and I truly hope you find the highest meaning of life, that will really satisfy the soul, and that's spiritual life. So I'm going to be here sharing things, and I hope even just one of you gets helped from this, and it'll make it all worth it for me. But until next time, guys, thank you, and God bless you all.